Let me know right away.
Okay,
All
here.
right. Is it showing recording? All right, everybody.
Yes.
We are going to talk about how to fill in these boxes on our mural board, and we're going to be using these for our final. Um, I'm taking my logo. So for example, we need to also, some of us also are still trying to figure out, and I'm going to show us how to think about arranging our mark and our type. So this is a great example of an illustrative mark. Here's an illustrated mark. And here is, oops, the type, the word mark. So Passing Dance Theater is the word mark, and I have them stacked. And then this is the illustrative mark. And so what we want to do, and I'm going to clear, I have a bunch of lines on here. Let me clear all of these guides so we can start again. You can always do this by clear guides. Okay. So when we have a mark, it's helpful to like kind of break this down. So I'm going to make a copy of this mark by itself and put it up here. So the first thing is what is a logo mark? It's just this image. The logo mark is just this illustration, no type. That's the logo mark. The word mark is just the word mark, the design of the word mark that will pair with the mark. But if I was to use it all by itself, that's how I would use it. It would just be the word mark, no symbol. Okay. So those are the first two boxes. Then we have a horizontal and a stacked. So this first one's going to be horizontal and the bottom one's going to be stacked. So how do we scale this mark and this word mark so they work well together? And how do we make that happen? Well, it's helpful to grid out the scale of the mark. This is a very tall, long mark. So what I'm going to show us is, and we're going to use this gridding to help us with the horizontal and the stacked. I'm going to make a guideline giving me the width of this mark. I'm going to copy this mark and make it twice as wide. Okay. Then I'm going to center my mark and make some more grid marks. So I'm going to center it. And this is a very tall mark. So I'm only going to do it twice. I'm going to probably need to expand my page to make it work. Okay. I'm going to bring this down. And I'm going to also make guides right in the halfway part. I'm going to do that up here too. Oh, then I got to select it so I can see my half. I'm looking at the points that are the halfway mark. Okay. Okay, that being said, I am now going to look at my type. The word Pasadena, I'm going to make the full width of the two of the mark, the double width of the mark so that I can scale it accordingly. So there, the word A and the letter A and the letter P are the width of two of the mark. So that's a way to help me scale. I'm also going to look at where I want to put for the stacked version, where do I want to put? How far away do I want this? That feels too far. Let's move it up here. And I like that. So that this is taking up, giving us enough space so it's not too much tension, but it's not too far away where they feel like they're getting like disconnected from each other. So you really want to make sure you're balancing it out. So to give you an example of this height, the height is obviously this is the top, this is the bottom, and this is half of the height that I'm putting using the baseline for this long, tall logo. So that's giving me a nice balance for my stacked version. So my stacked version is this. I now need to make a horizontal version. So now I'm going to look at making my mark half the height it currently is. I'm going to bring my type over here. And as you can see, my type is centered. But when I'm going to make a horizontal, I don't want to have this weird space that the centered type had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple things. I want to space this out in a way where I'm looking at this going, oh, the logo feels too small because it is such a long logo. I think I want to break it up into maybe half, 3/4 of the size. So I'm going to divide this space again for myself. I can see that's already too small. Let's go here. And then let's take our Pasadena Dance Theater, and I want to make it flush left. I'm going to take the word Pasadena and align it with the D. So now I'm going to zoom in so I can see it. Make sure I'm truly aligned. I feel like I am. And I'm going to save this out, group it as a flush left now because I'm using it horizontally. And now I'm going to look at the midline of my new mark, which is right there. And I want that midline to go right between my P and the D so that this feels centered. I can also do that by just selecting all of it and using my alignment tool up here. Make sure everything is aligned, which I just did. So now I can say, okay, this is going to be my horizontal. I'm going to group this. So here is my horizontal. Here is my stacked. And then you're going to ultimately decide which one is your primary and which one's your secondary. So for me, my primary is my stacked. My secondary is the horizontal. And so I'm going to bring this one over here and make this a color. So I'm going to make it this red color. And so then for my second variation, it's going to be the reverse. So I'm going to grab and make the background the dark color, the red color. So I'm going to make it more like real red. And that's going to be red. And then I'm going to pull this on top, object arrange, make sure it's in front. And there is my reverse color. And again, if you don't want to use white as your reverse, you can use another color. Like let's say I want to use a light gray. It just has to be light enough to contrast. That's almost not. There we go. It has to be pretty light to work with the dark color. Okay, and so that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to have a mark, the word mark, the horizontal, the stacked, the logo color variations. And if you had more that you want to show, you can. So if there are more variations, like we just looked at that example of the Wisconsin, oh my gosh, what is it called? Nature and Culture History Museum. They had like 4 different variations of colors that they were putting the white logo on. So you can do that too. So you can say, I want to show this on the whole color palette, like all the variations. So you can do something like that too and show multiples. Or the same with the one that's on the positive too. Either way. Any questions? Does that make sense? Yeah, Mariah, go ahead.
So, like for my mark, I have multiple different colors in it. So how would the reverse work? Would I just
Well, you want to choose the light colors and put them against the background black, the dark colors. So let's look at yours. Oops, wrong thing. Let's look at your board and we can see the color palette you have. Where are we? Okay. So when you have, and Mariah, a lot of you, you're not alone. A lot of you have lots of colors. So I'm just going to quickly, hold on a minute. I'm going to copy this and put it over here. So Mariah's question is, what do I do if I have lots of different colors? So we want to pick one of the colors for the background. And so, for example, we want to choose the pink, right? So let's say the pink is the background. So the first and the easiest way is to think about the letter form being white for each of them, and then having lighter colors. So you might, so in other words, when you're doing your color palette, she has a this donut element and the little, oh my gosh, why can't I never remember this guy's name?
Tanuki.
Tanuki. So Tanuki needs to have two colors in your palette. Tanuki is going to need to have a the I don't think I have browns in. Oh yeah, I do. So like Tanuki's, let's say this is the brown that he currently is. So Tanuki's currently this brown. That's too dark for this to lay on top of this in the reverse. We're going to need a lighter Tanuki. And so I don't know, for all impressive purposes, let's just say this is the lighter brown, not orange. You get the idea. So you will when the Tanuki is against the white M. So you're going to have an M, and I'm just going to make a white box so you can get the idea. So your M is going to be white. Your Tanuki is going to be in front of a white box. So we need something that's going to work with the white, but separate from the pink background. So the M is going to be white. The Tanuki is going to be a lighter color. And it might work with the same brown. I'm not sure. We just have to try it. It might be fine with the same brown. And then your D can be either the same blue or just also white, or have it be a lighter blue. So I know you're talking about going with a little darker blue. So in other words, you have to have a lighter version of each thing. And then again, the donut would match. Since you're kind of having the donut and the Tanuki be the same, we would want that to match too. But the idea is that the letters are going to really pop off the dark background. So they're going to be in the white, the world of white. Does that make sense?
I think so.
This could be a lighter blue, like that's probably too light. But it has to be careful because some colors vibrate. Like already, you see how that blue is vibrating against that pink background. So if I'm going to do blue, I might have to go with like a real light blue. Or it might just be best for communication is just keeping it white. Sometimes the reverse is best just white. And it's good to have a logo that'll work in one color or two, not have to be full color. So exploring that isn't a bad idea. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to stop the recording.